This episode of Film Riot is brought to you by Domain.com.
Today on Film Riot, I talk about my switch from Mac to PC. Welcome to Film Riot, the show that takes the mystery out of the effects and techniques. Go to Step Fat, have hands. I'm your host, Ryan Conley. And yes, you heard me right. We're talking about my switch from Mac to PC. And I have to say, people make this the most ridiculously annoying conversation. I am no fanboy. If it works, I use it. Whatever is best for the job or the best thing that I can afford, I use it. The whole brand allegiance thing that people do just makes me want to kick Josh in the wiener and force him to sing It's a Small World.
You always make it
because that would be
me in
awesome.
some way.
I mean, you wouldn't literally have a high-pitched voice, but that's the joke. But if you did, awesome.
Thanks for explaining it to us.
Yeah. So before we get started, the following is, of course, my personal opinion for why I went to PC personally. Please, I'm begging you, do not start the whole hate fest thing in the comments about which one's better. Apple's terrible. No, Windows is terrible. And then you fight amongst each other. You just make yourself look ridiculous. Let's give our opinions rationally and kindly, like we're all above the age of 10. Shall we? Kindness trumps a-hole comments every day. So now we're at the point that we're moving into some episodes on post-production with proximity, and the best way to kick that off is to talk about the gear I use in post-production. Now, I've been planning on leaving Mac for use on bigger projects for a long time now. It's just so scary leaving that glorious OS for Windows. Windows. So why did I leave my Mac? Well, for many reasons, but two of the most important are price and communication. By communication, I mean the lack of it. This was my same issue when we talked about the release of the new Final Cut. I mean, I actually like how quiet Apple stays on consumer products like an iPhone or an iPad. It makes it a lot more fun for me, but when it comes to something that I use for professional use, how I make my money, it's not very helpful not knowing what's coming. But now we finally have an upgrade to the Mac Tower, which looks great, but the cost is extremely high, which is to be expected from Apple products. But to max this thing out the way I'd want, I'd be over $10,000 once you add taxes into the mix, and that's without monitors. And don't get me wrong, I think the new Mac looks amazing, and it definitely has some great specs, but by going with a Windows machine, I can build an even faster system and buy two great monitors, and I'm still spending less money. And that is the main factor right there. So for my big switch over to a Windows-based system, I went with the HP Z820. In this beast, I have two Xeon E5 processors, the NVIDIA Quadro K5000, and 48 gigs of RAM, which I will be upgrading to 64 as soon as I can. For display monitors, I have an HP ZR2440W and the glorious Dream Color monitor. Both are 24-inch monitors, and I love them. I love them both. As an add-on, I got myself the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 audio interface and a pair of Rocket 5 studio monitors, which is a lower cost but really solid audio setup, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. But that is my setup, which I am freaking loving. I was on a 27-inch iMac before, which was pretty souped up, 32 gigs of RAM, but I have moved into using a lot of 4K and above files in my workflow, which when I try to play back a raw 4K file on my iMac, it looks like this. But on my new PC, it looks like this, which was another massive factor in my switching. I need a lot more machine for a lot less price. So I got my HP in the mail, which I went with HP after visiting two VFX houses in LA and seeing that both of them ran off all HP systems. So I was pretty much sold right there. Very happy I did too. So far, this has been an extremely solid system, but the thing that I was most horrified about as a Mac user was switching to Windows. I hadn't used a Windows machine in years, and all I remember from when I did used to use it was how ugly it was and how much it just made me feel like I should be sitting in a cubicle hating my job while using it because I'm a Mac user and it's Windows. So I got the system, booted it up, and it had Windows 7 installed. I had a mini panic attack at how much I hated it for a moment, but then Stark, you guys remember Stark, right? Well, he's a longtime Windows user, and he talked me off the ledge by telling me to install Windows 8, which I did immediately, and I have to say I really like it. Now, I know this is a very opinion-based thing, and there are a lot of people who hate it, but I actually like it a lot. And I can't lie either. Getting used to a Windows-based system, again, was a bit of a learning curve, took some getting used to, but after about a week of use, I was zipping around it just like my Mac. So far, the only downside that I found is maintenance. Mac is far more plug and play, and though that is a downside, it's also an upside since it gives you a lot more control. So again, it's just a matter of opinion. So to sum it up, I made the big switch to a Windows-based HP system so I could get a monster system at almost half the price and still be able to upgrade and customize it however I wanted to as time went on. And I found that half the people I do work with use PC, so having both is incredibly useful for me as well, which I am still using my Mac as well. In fact, I just bought a new Mac Pro laptop so I could be mobile and edit at the same time. So I jump in between my Mac and my PC depending on what I'm working on. For bigger projects and any sort of heavy graphics stuff, I'm on my PC, but for smaller stuff and when I need to be mobile, I'm jumping on my Mac laptop. I also use almost all Apple products for personal use. iPhone, iPad, Apple TV, even though I like my Roku better, and my Mac laptop are all used for my personal stuff and entertainment stuffs at home. But my PC remains my beast workhorse. So I live with both. I'm like Blade, with one foot in both worlds. I'm in love with my new HP system, and I still love my Apple products too. Both are great and very useful to me in their own ways. And as I said in the beginning, this is a very divisive topic. People are irrationally passionate about one or the other. My opinion is that they're both great, and whichever you prefer will work great for you. So do I think you should switch to a PC? I can't tell you that one way or the other. For me, it was the smart thing to do. I needed more system for less money, and I needed to be able to upgrade it however I wanted as time went on, and for those upgrades to not break the bank. But again, that is all preference. At the end of the day, it's not the camera, the computer, or the software that makes a great project. It's the talent behind all those things. Creativity has no brand allegiance. Domain.com is a place to go if you're trying to get yourself seen on the interwebs. Like if you want to throw spiders at women. For the fun of it.
Or, wait, what?
You're just throwing spiders at women. You can go to domain.com, you can make a website to find spiders. Like people will send you spiders and then you can video throwing poisonous spiders at passerby. It doesn't have to be women. In fact, you could spread it out.
That's actually
Men,
really dangerous.
children, old people, young people,
maybe we should
dogs
make a
and
website
cats.
about not doing
Chuck
those things.
chuck poisonous spiders at them.
Don't do that.
This can be a website and you can get hosting and a domain name from
Spiders are really
domain.com
dangerous.
to make this happen. And you know
Some are
what?
deadly.
Those spiders, those exotic spiders, they're gonna cost you some money. So let's save you some money. Use the coupon code FilmRed at checkout to save
don't buy
15%
spiders.
off your domain name and web hosting
buy
so you can
venomous
save
spiders.
up the money to get yourself Black Widow, a brown
really
recluse,
dangerous,
perhaps
though.
some tarantulas.
Stop.
They're not that poisonous, but they're scary.
Stop it.
Maybe some scorpions.
Don't do what he says.
Why not?
Don't
Mix it up.
follow his instructions.
And a great white shark. Just for the fun of it. So when you think domain names, think domain.com. Use that coupon
Don't
code.
do anything with spiders.
Get the spiders.
Don't though.
Logo.
And the last thing
Hey,
that
what's up, Brian?
What's up, man? Why are you interrupting me? What are you doing?
I thought we were gonna go like
We're not.
rave party.
Nope. Just you be quiet and I speak. And the last thing we're going to talk about is audio for post-production. As I showed you before, I have the Focusrite Scarlett 2 i2 coupled with the KRK Rocket 5 speakers. For the speakers and the audio interface together, I paid around $400 total, which is really amazing for the quality that you're getting. Studio speakers can get crazy expensive and I had to stay affordable. So I asked a few friends who recommended these speakers as a perfect combination of price and quality, and I am glad I listened. They are freaking fantastical. They sound great and allow me to hear things in my edit that I wasn't hearing before. So my mixes are coming out a lot better. Plus, I can pump my tunes. For the headphones, I've been using the Grado PS500 and the SR80. The SR80 goes for about $100 and the PS500 goes for about $500. And I love these. I cannot recommend them enough. Of course, the PS500 is much better than the SR80i, but the SR80i may be the best $100 headphones that I've used yet. Now, these are open back, which means that sound leaks through, so whatever you are listening to will be heard. so they aren't good for monitoring while recording audio. But these are by far my favorite for editing. Super comfortable, and they really sound amazing. If you swap between something like Sony paired to these, my God, does the Sony sound like a cheap set. And finally, all this is on top of my upright desk, which we already talked about in a different episode right here, so I won't go into that again. So go watch that, my dude.
Beware!
Logo.
But that's it for today. I don't think that I've ever been asked to cover something as much as you guys were asking me to explain my switch to PC, so I hope that explained it well enough. If you have any questions though, you can always shoot them to my Twitter right here. But again, Mac, PC, some magical system that only wizards can use on the backs of dragons. The tool doesn't make the film, you do. And I'll see you lovely people next week when I make a virtual girlfriend that comes into the real world through my new PC.